Oblivion is at hand!
As his name clearly implies, or rather warns, Oblivion is not your everyday bad guy. This terrible and terrific villain hails from the Turok video game franchise, specifically Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion, and he's traumatized a good many gamers in his time. Some might even argue that Elden Ring bosses could have taken notes from Oblivion's playbook. Since the game's release in the year 2000, FPS enthusiasts locked and loaded to go face to face with this creepy cool character. In this video, we're going to explore the past, present, and potential future of this one-of-a-kind baddie. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin. How did Oblivion come into existence? Know your enemy. This is a saying anyone who's going up against Oblivion in the Turok franchise will need to hear. Let's go back to the very beginning with this guy and see what sort of creation voodoo made Oblivion develop an eternal hunger for destruction. This incredible entity's origin story is almost Lovecraftian. It goes beyond time and space, way before the Lost Land came to be, heck, way before even the universe was formed. This formless entity floated through space like a harbinger of doom and despair. We aren't exaggerating. This monster ate entire planets that were in his way, but it didn't stop there. It literally invaded living beings and ate their bodies from the inside out. It didn't leave out their spirits either. Oblivion is known to feast on the dead and the dying alike. Gamers who witnessed the galactic destruction following the Primogen's lightship explosion were shocked to learn that Oblivion, though initially torn apart, survived. It wasn't until life returned to normal and the Lost Land came to be that humankind realized their greatest threat was still breeding. Even the light burden energy source could not get rid of this guy. Whatever pain he felt when it initially ripped him asunder, Oblivion later felt nothing but pure rage and hate. He wanted revenge. Revenge on the Turok line that almost ended him. His eternal sights were set on using the Netherscape to create a bridge between the Lost Land and other dimensions. Oblivion was hell-bent on achieving this. His motivation? Only the extinction of the Turok line would free him from the light burden of threat that nearly destroyed him. Oblivion was looking forward to visiting vengeance on the Omniverse, but first his breath of chaos could only be possible if he was fully reborn. Only then could he reclaim his status as an omnipotent, all-powerful being. Lore from Adon confirms that other Turoks have gone up against Oblivion before. She also reveals that Oblivion is an extraordinary entity who transcends any normal understanding of good and evil. What does Oblivion look like? If you're going to be one of the most destructive creatures in existence, you'd better look the part. But Oblivion, that look was all over the place. Hey, that's a good thing for this villain. It's exactly what makes him so memorable. If the forearms and just as many legs don't send chills down your spine, Oblivion also has a weird-looking orb nestled in one of his grotesque arms. The orb isn't some fancy jewelry. No. It's a conduit that lets him cast devastating spells. His face is equally unsettling. If Oblivion had any friends, chances are they'd have called him Four Eyes, and they wouldn't be wrong. The right side of Oblivion's wicked face sports one giant eye, while the left side has three smaller ones. Talk about alien vision. Now, if you're thinking he probably rocks a killer bod, well, think again. With internal organs visible in places they shouldn't, Oblivion takes show off your abs to eldritch extremes. Oh, and did we forget to mention the giant mouth smack in the middle of his torso? Yeah, there's that. One look at this entity will make HP Lovecraft fans go gaga, and the rest go crazy. But all of us will most certainly go mad. What is Oblivion's personality like? We've seen what Oblivion looks like, but does he actually have a worse personality to complement his frightful outward appearance? For starters, all characters can be defined by their motives. This villain's sole aim in life is to kill every single thing in existence. Talk about first impressions. As sadistic as he is malicious, Oblivion doesn't want to rule over anything. He just wants it all to end, to make the universe return to a state of absolute nothingness. This greed for galactic destruction doesn't stop at the material plane. Oblivion's dark desire also encompasses alternate dimensions and timelines within the Turok universe. It must have taken a special kind of hate to choose total eradication over total domination. For all this, Oblivion is more of a malevolent strategist than a mindless aggressor. You won't find him going into Rambo mode as he tries to attack his sick goals. He instead takes the subtler approach. This part of his personality is surprising. It makes him a master manipulator, which is somehow scarier than if he went guns blazing. Much like Lovecraft's Cthulhu, Oblivion 2 has zealous cultists and fanatic followers willing to do whatever he wants. These minions, corrupted by his godlike lies, work tirelessly to further his plans for intergalactic annihilation. Choosing patience over haste and calm calculation over sudden aggression, Oblivion has proven to be the Julius Caesar of villains. Something tells us he relishes such moments. After all, if we were an all-powerful entity bent on total annihilation, we might want to savor the process, right? We don't know which is worse, Oblivion's cosmic disregard for life or his cool villain approach to ending it. Either way, there's no talking this entity out of it. His hate is too great for that. Think of it from Oblivion's point of view for a second and you'll understand what we mean. He sees all life as beneath him. This cosmic baddie doesn't care to see ants as anything more than a mere inconvenience, one that has to be destroyed slowly and deliciously. Oblivion's arrogance is not a psychological quirk either. It stems from his self-assurance that he alone is judge, jury, and executioner, the sole agent in existence to ensure utter inexistence. How did Oblivion influence Turok 2 Seeds of Evil? Oddly enough, Oblivion isn't the main antagonist of the Turok franchise. That credit goes to Primogen. This alien imbued with supreme telepathic powers did things many eons ago that eventually led to the establishment of the Lost Land. Now, Primogen did not waste any time after he awoke. He began a steadfast campaign against the Lazarus Concordance. Meanwhile, Oblivion watched from the wings. Being a master manipulator, Oblivion allowed Primogen's campaign to unfold because his success would pave the way for Oblivion's own plans and make them much more convenient to achieve. This subtle and scary manipulation played a pivotal role in Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. When Oblivion eventually entered the game, by choosing every location that had an energy totem and placing fake talismans there, he all but ensured Primogen's diabolical success. Enter our protagonist, Joshua Fireseed. Oblivion's plan directly impacted Josh's character arc in Turok 2. He later finds himself inside some sort of unnerving stronghold that looks like it belongs to Oblivion. How so? Because waiting to finish him off are Oblivion Spawn, who seems more than happy to end Joshua, a chilling preview of the horrors to come. What was Oblivion's role in Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion? 2 years after the events in Turok 2 Shadow of Oblivion took the franchise to some dark places, Turok 3 also saw our main characters facing off against Oblivion in a winner-takes-all boss fight. Spoiler alert, major plot twist exposés incoming, so get ready. In Turok 3, the closer Oblivion came to the Lost Land, the more Joshua was afflicted with bizarre dreams. He kept seeing a child who could be their salvation. Before long, all the silent threats Oblivion made in Turok 2 Seeds of Evil manifested in Turok 3. The big bad manipulator makes his grand reveal on the Earth stage and plunges the planet into chaos, almost as if he was invited to a feast. Oblivion starts draining Earth of its life force. To make his work easier, the villains opens temporal rifts and dispatches sentinels to Joshua Fireseed's home. Fans have cried after what happened next. Joshua does the honorable deed and sacrifices his own life to ensure Danielle and Joseph live to fight another day. Earth and the Lost Land are being desecrated by now. Oblivion does what he does best and mutates life forms wherever he can find them, which is, well, everywhere. Danielle and Joseph are routinely bombarded with encounters and have to end them in a bid to get to Oblivion. Remember that child Josh kept seeing in his dreams? Well, that was some Decepticon-level trickery because it is soon revealed that Oblivion planted those thoughts in Josh's mind to derail, even delay his noble goals. The child was none other than a disguised Oblivion. His ruse was aimed at bringing the last of the Turok bloodline, namely Danielle and Joseph, straight to him. Talk about checking off a bucket list. The final boss fight ensues with Danielle and Joseph suffering, but eventually succeeding in defeating Oblivion. However, the boss has not yet had the last word. A small portion of his essence takes over Josh's body. After failing to trick Danielle and Joseph, he forces them to fight their own brother, who is now a corpse puppet controlled by Oblivion. This bad guy is sick on a lot of levels. Adon enters the picture and helps counter Oblivion's move. This gives Danielle and Joseph enough time to use the light burdens they'd brought with them to destroy Oblivion once and for all. Karma came calling at Oblivion's door and she brought gifts. How does the Oblivion boss fight work? Be prepared. No, we aren't about to sing Scar's famous song from The Lion King. This is simply sound advice from any gamer looking to take on Oblivion. After a few wipes, we're sure you'll agree that Oblivion's shockwaves and energy projectiles are not easy to dodge. That's the range issue covered. As for melee proximity, this villain has a tendency to use his four limbs to crush you if you get too close. Even after receiving a good wallop, and when his health drops to a certain point, Oblivion regenerates HP not once but twice. For an entity who insists on total annihilation, he himself seems to be taking the opposite direction. Good news is, Oblivion's got weak points. This should be your primary focus. Remember that one arm with a spell-emitting orb? Ironically, for all the power it doles out, it is also a weak spot. That appendage can take a good amount of damage, so aim for that. The next weak point is sort of obvious. In fact, it is almost always in your face, so to speak. Yes, that giant mouth in his torso is a major weak spot you must exploit if you want to kill him. But here's the catch. That mouth of his stays shut until you stun him, and the only way to do this is to wield the PSG, or the Personal Singularity Generator. This weapon can be found in Turok 3. It is essentially a doomsday device capable of creating black holes. No better instrument to take on a creature that can access different dimensions, eh? You can temporarily stun Oblivion using this high-tech device, then start attacking his mouth, which takes much more damage than his orb appendage. Trust us, you want to end him fast, not slow. When he is stunned and his mouth gapes open, give it everything you've got, because you've just made him super vulnerable to a whopping galaxy of DPS. Marvelous verdict. Oblivion, what can we even say? This guy is easily one of the most unforgettable villains in gaming history. From his insane manipulations to his relentless mission to wipe out everything in existence, he's been the ultimate nightmare fuel for Turok fans. Well, hope you enjoyed this blast from the past as much as we did. The fate of Earth and the Lost Land, that's all on you now. You've been watching Marvelous videos. Don't forget to hit like, smash, subscribe, and stick around as we've got plenty more awesome content coming right your way.